All right, folks, let's take a look at this Leatherman Arc Talos. It's been anodized in a kind of bronze color. It's a really good looking little multi-tool. Um, as with other Leatherman stuff I've had in the past, I haven't had too much of it. I had a Leatherman Wave, and I think it was like a Squirt or something like that. But my Leatherman Wave I've used for, I don't know, 15 years, and it's it's pretty worn. I should have actually brought it out for this video, but I keep it in my motorcycle stuff as kind of an emergency tool. But I thought I'd get myself something a little nice and got this Leatherman Arc Talos. I really like the color of it and everything, and I like how it's got the little belt clip so I can kind of put it, or the little pants clip so I can put it in my pocket. The thing that kind of sold me on this is it can be used for so many different things. So, I tend to need little tools here and there when I'm out and about or I'm in the house somewhere, and it's nice to just whip this out and use it, if you need some pliers or um, need any of the other tools that are in it. So there's a whole bunch of tools in here. The most commonly used is going to be the knife for the most part. And the knife is a MagnaCut. Seems really sharp. It's got kind of maybe like I'd consider it maybe a high saber grind. And it's relatively thick and tapers pretty quick, so I don't think it's too slicey, but if you watched my little cheese slice video, it sliced through cheese pretty well, which, I kind of use as a sliciness test for a lot of knives, and so it's slicey enough, but I'm sure it won't be as good as some other knives might be. But this is a hard use item too. Think of that, like this is designed for tradesmen to do trades and for hard use, so it makes more sense to have the knife be a bit more robust. Let's talk about some other things. So let's look at the tool. So we've got the knife, and then there should be a file here. So you got diamond file, kind of a coarse, and then fine. And then you've got your saw just right there. And they all pop out pretty easily. And there should be one more guy in here. I think it's the scissors that are over here. And you got some nice scissors, actually pretty big. So I'll be using those actually a fair amount. And then we'll pop some of the other tools out. So you just got to push in the top here. And they pop out. So you got a bottle opener. You could use this as a little pry bar as well. And then you got your tiny little kind of eyeglasses type screwdriver. I've used mine on my other one more than I thought I would. And then you've got this, I think people call it an awl. It's kind of like a little sharpened, it's not quite a knife, but just for picking at stuff, prying and digging. I think is kind of more what that's for. I've never actually really used one, if I'm being honest. And then there's some tools on the other side. You got your can opener, which actually I use a lot. I use a can opener camping. I've even used it at home before. For me, a can opener is actually kind of an important tool that I never thought I would really use that much, but comes in handy. And then you got your screwdriver. Unfortunately, this is all you get when you buy the Arc Talos. So you literally just get the Leatherman. You don't get a pouch. You don't get the little tool, the bit pack or anything like that. So I'm going to have to buy the bit pack separately. I mean, I already have one for my Leatherman Wave. So I might just use that, or maybe I'll get a dedicated one for this as well. And I'd like to get the bit extender too, which I also have for the Wave. So I guess I might just swap some of that stuff back and forth depending on if I need it. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. It's pretty good. It's too bad it didn't come with some extra stuff, but if I'm being fair at the price point this comes at, it seems like a high quality piece, and I'm not used to this awesome kind of like magnet deployment because the Wave is obviously not quite as crazy. This thing's pretty quality, it comes across to me. Made in the USA. I think it's 70% made in the USA, which lets them put the stamp made in the USA on there. So yeah, these like little retention clips are pretty sticky, so when you have it in you hear it lock. When you're using it as pliers, it doesn't kind of go all over the place. It stays pretty tight, and I actually like that a lot because if I remember correctly, my Wave doesn't do that. I haven't used it in a little while, but Something else that I really like. Actually, before we move on, I'm going to finish talking about the price. So, people are talking about, this is so expensive and blah, blah, blah. And the reason it's expensive is because of this MagnaCut knife. MagnaCut is very expensive. If you look at any just simple flipper knife, like pocket knife that's made out of MagnaCut, they're pretty much the same price as this or maybe even more expensive. And with this, you get a whole bunch of tools, a lot of different uses, a lot of utility. So I do like that a lot, and it's easy to flip the knife out, and so it's easy to deploy, which is going to bring me to my next kind of intended use for this. Is you could, in theory, allegedly use this in a self-defense situation. So if you pull it out of your pocket, you got the clip on like this, you can pull it out, put it in your fist, kind of works like a roll of quarters, makes your knuckles all even. And then also you've got this hammer on the back, which a hammer can be used for nails, and you can use this to drive nails really, really hard if you like. And so in a self-defense situation, I feel like this would be a really good non-lethal option to deter someone from attacking you. And then, of course, if it comes to knives out, you can do that. You can have your knife out. And it's a long enough knife. It's probably 2.5 inch blade. I can't remember what the specs are, but it's long enough that if you had to use it for that, it'd be fine. So overall, I personally think this is a good unit. I think if you're a person that uses your Leathermans a lot, like you use your tools, I think this is well worth the money. It's a really, really good looking little unit. And I think it's going to last a very long time. It seems to have very good build quality. And it's kind of fidgety, which is fun. You can kind of flip it out and play with it. And I like that a lot about it. Kind of hard to do one-handed once it's locked in, that's for sure. But I'll get better at it as I play with it more. But yeah, I really like the Leatherman Arc. $300 Canadian. I think it's $230 US. I think it's worth it if you want something more premium. If you don't want something or don't need something as premium, then the Leatherman Wave will fill that role nicely. You're going to be sharpening the blade on that more if you use it a lot, because it's 420 HC, which is not a super great steel. I mean, it works fine, but it needs a frequent sharpening. I have knives in 420 HC and it goes dull pretty quick, but with MagnaCut, it's not going to go dull quick at all. And it's a very tough steel, so you can use it to pry and do all kinds of stuff. So, and it also sharpens pretty well. So it's a really great steel. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that little rambling about the Leatherman Arc Talos. And, if you can afford one and you're interested in it, I would recommend getting it. I think, this is something you can keep your whole life and pass on to your children and possibly grandchildren. So you take good care of it. And, Leatherman has a 25-year warranty with these, and they're pretty good about replacing stuff when it breaks. So I have no qualms about buying it. It'll last me a long time. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your Leathermans.